Namaste. Welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today we're going to talk about what is the goal in Buddha's teaching. Why did the Buddha teach what he taught? Okay, and what is our goal as a practitioner? What is it that we are looking for? Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing. So the goal in the teaching that the Buddha has left for us is that the Buddha saw that after his enlightenment, the Buddha saw that we all human beings live in ignorance, complete total ignorance. We are all living in total darkness. Okay, we have no clue what the ultimate true reality is, and because of that, uh, human beings, go through life having no clue what's going on. So people suffer life without understanding what the cause or whatever that that is happening to them. It's just that total darkness. That's what the Buddha saw. Okay, and because of that, when the Buddha decided to teach, the goal of the teaching is, of course, to liberate us, to liberate uh, people who have the ability to grasp, to understand his teaching, okay, to help us out of the cycle of suffering, the cycle of birth and death, right? So so without the Buddha, we all, of course, have no clue what's going on. All right. So the lesson is more than precious, it's more than priceless, it's beyond words. But so the goal that of the teachings, of course, so is that to liberate us from the cycle of suffering. And of course, we all have to understand what suffering is, right? And if for people who do not have any idea about what suffering that the Buddha is talking about, so they don't really have any interest, and so that so be it. It's unfortunate because the teaching is such a incredible treasure. But so the teaching is about liberating us out of samsara, out of the cycle of birth and death, right? The cycle of heaven and hell. Okay, the cycle of happiness and sadness, and everything in between. So in order for us to liberate ourselves, to free ourselves from all of this thing that is that going on in life, as we all know it. When there is life, there is suffering. It's just inevitable for every single one of us. Some go through more difficult times, some go through less difficult times, but nevertheless, one time or the other, we bound to meet this headache, um, issue, problem, health issue, worries and all that that we all have, right? So as long as there is birth, we cannot avoid that. We have to go through that life, okay? Whether we are born as human being or we are born as animal in hell or realm or in the heavenly realm, it doesn't matter as long as there is life. As long as there's form, every living being will go through some sort of suffering, all right? If not at the beginning, it's in the middle. If not in the middle, it's in the end or throughout our whole life. So the goal of the teaching is for us to be free from the bondage, from the entanglement of our karma, of our you know action that we have done and that we are doing right now. So in order for us to liberate ourselves from this suffering, we have to understand that what is the source of our suffering, right? And that's why the Buddha taught the Fourth Noble Truth. And of course, desire is at the background of all of our suffering, and it is also based on a very own ignorance. All right, so every one of us have ignorance. So the teaching is, of course, because now that we, at least we know, all right, that okay, desire is at the background of all of our suffering. Okay, and desire goes back all the way to life. Okay, we have life, we are born because we have desire. Without desire we wouldn't be born. All right, so that is at the very beginning of our conception, is that because there's desire. Right, so when there's desire and then there's birth and there we go, life. Okay, so now that we understand, now that we know at least that okay, desire is at the root of our suffering, so the teaching is of course point us to cultivate our way of conducting our life, a way that we are conducting our mind, to have less desire, right? To get rid of our craving, to get rid of our clinging, to get rid of our attachment, to reduce, at the beginning, of course, as we start practicing, nobody can just, snap and then become enlightened, because desire or defilement that we have, it's been rooted in all of us, for many lives, not just this life, okay, for eon and eon. So it's one of those things that needs practice. But yes, practice can get us out of this bondage, but we have to practice. So at the beginning, of course, we have to learn to reduce our craving, learn to reduce our clinging, our longing for whether material things or for another human being. We learn to let go of that. Okay, so just like we all have heard that the Dharma is just like an ocean. Okay, we start at the beach, at the shallow beach, and as we progress, we go a little deeper and deeper. So at first, there are many lessons that point us to how do we learn, how do we practice in reducing desire, what's desire is, what the cause of it, right? And of course, there's a way how do we practice the way, which is of course the Eightfold Noble Path, the path that we all need to take in order to help us to reduce desire, to reduce cravings. Okay, so in another word, it's on the flip side of that. It means that it teaches us not to increase our craving, at least, all right? Not to increase it, but to reduce it, all right? So because the more we crave, the more desire we have, the more suffering we encounter. Because desire leads to all kinds of of evil deeds that one can do. All right. So also when we learn to lessen our craving, to lessen our desire. So we learn to live moderately. Okay, we learn to accept what we have. Okay, materially or our family and all that. We learn to accept who they are. Okay, so we are reducing the demand that we usually have, expectation of others. Okay, so we learn to reduce that. We learn to live in moderation. We not demanding too much as far as material things, whether as far as food, as far as shelter, as far as things that we use. That most of us, a lot of people who are lost in chasing modern, uh, appliances and stuff like that. Okay, all the brand name and that. No, we don't have to. Okay, we learn to reduce those desire that keep chasing after all those things that keeps updating, which is that's the nature of business. They have to come out with new things all the time in order to incite us to follow them, to to keep them in business. But in the teaching, we learn how to live moderately. Okay, so that is the step that help us a little bit at a time. And also, as we learn to live, sort of like we choose the middle way, right? We now we learn how to balance it instead of just react with the headline, react to the latest item that come out. Okay, just come out and all that. So we learn how to be calm. We learn how to be peaceful, and we learn how to be happy with who we are. Okay, so the teaching lead us, such as through meditation, uh, teach us to lessen our desire, of course, and then by lessening our desire, then we become more happy to who we are, accept who we are, and then we learn how to be at peace with ourselves, right? To be friendly with ourselves instead of fighting with ourselves all the time, instead of having all this anxiety and stress. And now we learn to accept ourselves, and now we learn to be happy with who we are. And then we, of course, with that, it comes naturally that we start to prefer, by not having to be in the crowd as much, right? We probably try to look for something that is a little bit more quiet than before, that is calmer than before. Okay, not something that is chaotic or hectic lifestyle. We take ourselves away from that. We remove ourselves from all of that, and we calm down, and we start to take care of our own feelings and our own emotions, right? And of course, with that, we need practice, right? And as we go through this step by step, learn to lessen our desire, learn to lessen our craving, learn to be happy with who we are. And of course, the old habit keeps coming back, keeps pulling us to come on, it's happy over there. Okay, there's a party over there. Okay, there's a big gathering over there. There's a great restaurant and all of that. Okay, so this desire, old habit of desire keeps pulling us all in all different directions, right? So we learn how to handle the different kinds of desire, old habit that keeps coming up. We learn how to handle it. Okay, so this is a practice of becoming patient with ourselves. There are times that we cannot stop it, so we just, go along with the craving that we have, right? The old habit that we have, or we just, and all that. That after a while, we comes back and we say, okay, I need to pull myself back, all right, to be more in the present moment with ourselves. So this is a practice that requires our patience. We need to be patient with ourselves, right? Not with anyone else, but with ourselves. Okay, I'm going through this. I've learned this because we know that desire keeps taking us to different area, different direction, and desire leads to all kinds of issues that we keep encountering. So we need to learn. We learn to pull back, but the old habit keeps pulling us out. So it requires us to be to have endurance and to be patient with ourselves and keep on working and keep on practicing um, on ourselves. Okay, so and then as we continue on with ourselves, all right, so we know that one of the important thing about the teaching is from the Buddha is that in order for us to be liberated, we have to become detached instead of clinging, right? Instead of desiring that we keep going after this, after that, after this. Okay, keep chasing this, chasing that, and all that. No, I'm not saying that don't get anything. Okay, we need to support ourselves. Okay, so there's necessity that we have to have. Okay, food, clothing, shelter, housing, vehicle, and all that. We have to have money to buy all of those things. So in order to have money, you have to go to work, to do a business and all that. So those are the things that we need to do, and we keep doing. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but other than that, we know that okay, in order for us to to be free from all of this thing that is going on, that we know that we, of course, just like I said at the beginning, we have to understand that desire is the cause of the suffering in life. Okay, and so if you still not sure, then I encourage you to look at the Four Noble Truths right at the beginning of our series, okay, to see what is that noble truth about. All right, the cause and the suffering, right, and the cause of the suffering. What are the different things that cause that, and that was the reason why that we decide that okay, that is enough for me. Right, I have enough of that illusion of the deluded happiness that is going on in the head, that the mind keeps chasing after in order to keep itself happy. So you sort of like, okay, um, I don't want to do that anymore, and that's why we are practicing, right? We want to be liberated. We don't want to stay as a slave of our own desire any longer. We want to be detached from that desire. Okay, so then of course the teaching from the Buddha's teaching is that it teaches us to become more and more detached from the desire, okay, from the longing, from the craving, and all of that. And of course, desire has many phases, as you know. And one of the things that caught a lot of practitioners or a lot of Buddhists without them knowing is that I know there are different sects of Buddhism, okay, and we know that there's some uh, there's some part there's some sect in Buddhism that promote the practitioner to worship to certain deities and whatnot, okay, in order for them to go to some place to gain enlightenment. So they need to just worship or to certain enlightened body, and that's all they teach. Some of them, that's they say all you have to do is just recite the name, worship the deities, and you will be in a happy place. Okay, and so that is completely opposite of the Buddha's teaching of Gautama Buddha. Okay, I'm not talking about any other what they call other Buddha. Okay, but from the teaching of Gautama Buddha, okay, is to release, to become detached with everything, no desire. Okay, so keep that in mind. To detach, to have no desire. Ultimately, to cut off the desire, right? To cut off and also anger, and to cut and to be clear from ignorance, right? But desire is at the forefront. So now, if a practitioner is worshiping somebody, okay, asking some kind of deity, okay, by chanting or doing whatever that they do, okay, because in their mind is that they are hoping, they are wishing, okay, that is desire. Okay, when you wish for something, that is called desire, right? You are wishing to be in a certain place, okay, in the heaven place, in the angel place, in a Brahma place, realm, okay, or what. So now you are wishing, now you are having desire to go to a certain place, okay, while you are on this planet on earth here, with the teaching is right here, uh, while they should be studying, and instead they say no, I'm gonna depend on a certain enlightened being to take me there. Okay, so that is exact opposite of Buddha's teaching, right? um, so unfortunately there's a big group of people that do that, right? That is not Buddha's teaching. The Buddha teach us to depend on ourselves, not to depend on, because enlightenment is not somebody that can give it to you. Okay, the Buddha has laid out the different goalposts, right? If you want to go there, go travel this way, right? There's the Eightfold Noble Path, and learn what is the three poison, and the different kinds of keys and things that we need to figure out. Right? We learn about the mind, the mind faculties, and the different aggregates, that how the mind works, and all of this here. That's what we need to study in order to to understand what this is all about, and to get rid of the desire. This is what we need to study. Right? But unfortunately, there's a chunk of people, of Buddhists, who don't want to study, but instead depending on, like they call some kind of enlightened being, to just by uh, remember their name, and after they die, they will go to that place to become to get help from the enlightened being, so they be enlightened. It's so opposite to Gautama Buddha's teaching. The Buddha said nobody can give you the enlightenment except for you yourself. Okay, and you can do it, but you have to do it yourself. And here are the path, here are the lesson that you need to do, you need to practice. Okay, in order for you to get to the goal of being liberated. Okay, so there's nobody come in to unchain us. We are unchained ourselves. Okay, we freeing ourselves from the bondage, uh, and that is the goal of Buddha's teaching, right? Is for us to free ourselves from all the suffering. Okay, from all the desire, right? Because desire is the cause of suffering. So to free ourselves from all desire, even our desire to be enlightened, okay? Because that's what a lot of people with the desire to become enlightened, that is a desire, okay? So that's why that's why we need to study what is it that we need to do, okay? To under to detach ourselves from the desire, right? And once we goes along the lesson, the teaching, and then we figure out with wisdom that it just click in within ourselves. Okay, the wisdom that arise within. Okay, it's not the wisdom that come from anybody. All right, nobody can push their wisdom into us. They can give us the lesson, but it's for us to I got it. Okay, it's for us to figure that out. But so we have to study it. We have to listen. Okay, we have to study. What is it that the Buddha say? What is it that the Buddha taught? Okay, and that's what we do. We don't do the use desire to go to get enlightened. All right, we don't use desire by chanting somebody's name, by praying to some deity or whatnot, to be born in a certain place and whatnot. That's not what the Buddha taught. Okay, the Buddha teaches us to be free from all those desires. Let go. Okay, because all the in the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha said there are 31 realms, right? From hell realms through animal, human, and heaven, all the way to Brahma realms, right? All of that, the 31 realms, is called samsara. Okay, so as long as you're born in one of those realms, whether you're born in the hell realm, animal, um, hungry ghost, human, angel, Brahmin, form or unformed, doesn't matter where you're born, you're still caught in samsara. Okay, and when you're inside this samsara, one time you're born in this realm, another time you're gonna be born in this realm, another time you're gonna be born in this realm, up and down all over the place, and you keep going based on desire. Okay, the teaching is for us to liberate ourselves from all of this 34, 31 realm, just to be poof, no more birth in this 31 realm. The end, completely eradicated, no more desire. Okay, that's the, that's the goal of the teaching. Okay, that's the goal of the teaching, is to liberate ourselves from suffering. As long as we are in this caught up in this 31 realm of samsara, this is the realm, this is suffering. Okay, this is not what the Buddha taught. The Buddha did not teach us to be caught up in samsara. The Buddha taught us to liberate ourselves from samsara, right? Which is called Nibbana or Nirvana. Okay, but most of us are confused and we wishing to be born here, to be born there, and they're not. So that's not Buddha's teaching. Okay, yes, when you do good merit, the Buddha said, okay, if you do good merit, okay, you accumulate merit, you do good things. Okay, so now that you have good karma, of course, if that good karma works out and the condition is right, the next life, a being would be born into a higher realm, right? Into whatever, depending on the condition, right? But the karma works, um, you know, lasts for a certain amount of time, and after that life, then the merit, and then the next merit kicks in, and the being take up birth in another realm that could be going back down to the lower realm. Okay, so it depends on the karma, right, at that particular time, particular moment of last breath, or when the being die. Okay, so as long as you do that, you know, we caught up in that, in the samsara. It's a never-ending story, right? So the Buddha's teaching, the goal is no more samsara out of there. Okay, no more desire, no more samsara. So that is for us, the practitioner, to understand clearly that the goal of the Buddha's teaching, is that to liberate ourselves from this samsara, from this 34 to 31 realm of existence, in a way, right? According to the mind, is the realm of existence. But out of samsara is nirvana, which is the end of all the suffering. That is the goal. Okay, that is the goal. Remember, the goal is to be completely out of samsara, and we have to follow the lesson, and we do not depend on anyone but ourselves. We have to learn, and wisdom has to come from within, but we need guidance. Okay, we need guidance. That's why we study the lesson, we study the teaching. Okay, so that's what I like to share with you all today, so that at least people can have a, you know, a better understanding of themselves, of what is it that they are doing, you know, uh, by, you know, if they just going there and pray at a temple, wishing to be born at a certain place, to become to be born as a rich person in the next life, to be born as a beautiful person in the next life, and all that. That's not what the Buddha taught. Okay, that's not what the Buddha taught. The Buddha taught said when there's life, there's suffering. So that's it. That's the point that I like to, bring to your attention. Until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma, and I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.